Welcome back. Today I'm going to take a look at my last two nights' rapid games on Lichess. Let's just switch over where I have run the game review for the night before last's game on Lichess. It does say I have 3 mistakes and 2 blunders and 3 inaccuracies. Okay. On the graph here, it looks like I only had an advantage up until a very slight advantage, only up until move 7. Okay, where are my mistakes? Oh, my mistakes came after I was well behind. Oh, they don't even show up on the graph there. They're down in the dark part. After my first mistake was after my opponent already had a -2 advantage. And my blunders were after my opponent had an even greater advantage. Okay, so I went behind based on 1 inaccuracy. Okay. My opponent's mistakes were after they were well ahead as well. All right, let's see. Well, my inaccuracy then was here at E3, move 6, and move 8. All right, well, all the way up to the end of move 7, I had a very slight advantage according to the engine. And here I had several moves that kept me with a very slight advantage. Knight to D5, the engine thinks would have been best. It says that they would not have traded, but, the engine I think, assumes best play on the opponent's part. I don't know what I would have played if they had traded here. I guess I would have taken with the pawn, and then they would have taken with the bishop, and they would have been a pawn ahead. No, they wouldn't have taken with the bishop because I would have... Oh, it's a pawn fork. Okay, if they would have taken... See, I understand. That's why I do these, is because I learn things. They wouldn't have taken... I mean, they might have, but they shouldn't have taken because when I took back with the pawn would be defended by my bishop over here in the corner, and then that pawn would be attacking both of those pieces, their bishop and their knight, and they would stand to lose one. So if I put my knight in there, they wouldn't or shouldn't take it with the knight. It says they would play queen to D7, and then I would just leave the knight sitting there and castle. I guess I understand that, but it keeps that pawn temporarily from moving. But I mean, pretty quickly, they should be able to attack it with this pawn. So I'm not sure exactly what the knight would be doing there, but I understand why it would be okay to put it there. Or H3, which again, I guess keeps, one of these pieces from coming in here. Or castling now, or B3, because I guess to protect that pawn. Because if I ever move my D pawn, then my C pawn will be undefended, so that makes sense as well. Or E4 now. That looks like it allows their knight in here. But I played A4, which does the same thing except on this side. Okay, well, I can see why my move wasn't optimal, but that's what I played, and now my opponent has a very slight advantage, but only if they play D5, which they did. The engine says it doesn't matter whether I play D4 or take it. Okay, well, I took it, and they took back with their knight. And now I should have played D4. I should not have taken their knight in the middle. Okay, this was not counted as inaccurate or a mistake by the game review, but I think this is the move that put me behind for good, right here. Because right now I'm very close to even, but once I take with the knight, it's -1. Okay, so I should have left this here and played D4, not E4. Why not E4? Oh, E4 would block my bishop. Okay. I just thought we would get an even trade here if I took and they took back, and then I would take their bishop and they would take my bishop, but then they're pointed at my rook. Okay, I get that, because once my bishop's gone, my rook's open, and the only way I could think of to protect it was by castling. But D4 I do not understand. Okay, what's bad about E4? That allows knight D to B4, okay, and then my best move would be to castle, and I'd be down -2 for unknown reasons. Or king to F1 is my second best move. I don't know why. Wait, maybe I do. Yep, right here. Okay, I do know why. Because they have 2 pieces pointed at my pawn that's undefended. Okay, so I understand castling. Okay, so I castle. No. Now they can just take that with their queen, but not their knight. Why wouldn't they take it with their knight? I don't know. But so they can take this with their queen. I would take back with my queen, and my opponent's 1 pawn ahead. Oh wow, and it says my best move is to stop protecting this pawn that they're attacking. I wouldn't find that because I would think, oh no, that bishop's protecting the pawn. And I would have no idea I was down -2 here. Okay, so backing up, I think I can not do this in the future, but I certainly wouldn't expect my opponent to find D5 here, and that like I said, I'm convinced that that's a safe move now, but I don't know why I necessarily would want to put my knight in there, because I'm not really aiming to take that or that, and the computer says I wouldn't want the bishop either. So wow, yeah, I think here the best move I could probably find here would be B3. Out of all those 5, B3 is the only one that makes a lot of sense to me, or one that I could come up with in the moment, because I don't understand what the other ones are for. And I don't understand, why I would want to play E4 here, which allows the knight in the middle. Castling, I guess I understand. Okay, maybe I should have just castled since I was ready for it. Well, there's no point in going on in that game, because after this inaccuracy, and then after this little trade here, I was just lost, and my other mistakes don't even matter because my opponent was ahead before I made them. Okay, let me go on to the next game, last night's game. Okay, last night's game was apparently all over the place. I had 5 blunders, my opponent had 4 blunders. I was ahead until the last move where apparently I gave away a mate in one. All right. This one might be tough. But again, you see that in the first 10 moves, neither my opponent or I had any mistakes. In fact, the first mistake of the game wasn't until move 13. So this is happening more and more frequently. Both me and my opponents are getting better at getting out of the opening without a serious, giveaway of a piece or something. So my opponent played d4, which I've been responding to with knight to f6. And I think these are all relatively normal moves. The reason I played that pawn, of course, was to keep their bishop from coming here. I'm not sure why they played there because my bishop wasn't coming in and it didn't have anything to do with my knight over there, but that's what they did. Or maybe they were coming after my knight. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, we played relatively normally here. And apparently both of us did really well keeping it right at even all the way up until my opponent made an inaccuracy here, which gave me an advantage. They were supposed to get this knight out. It's their only remaining piece that hasn't developed yet. Or they can castle now. Or they can play c4 to challenge my center, and it says I would have taken it. I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would have because it's a center pawn. Or maybe now that my king is castled, it would be okay. I'm not sure. It says after I took their c-pawn, they would take with their bishop, and then I would play b5, which would gain a tempo because their bishop would need to drop back, and they would probably want to go back this way to keep it pointed at my king, and we would be pretty close to even. But instead, they put their knight back there. Now, when they did that, it took me a second to think, why would anybody play this? One reason is to move the f-pawn. I don't know why they would want to move the f-pawn, with their king still here, but that's very often why an opponent does this. Also, 10 moves in, I've used just over 30 seconds because, again, there were no real threats here, and it seemed like I was making normal opening moves, and it seemed like my opponent was, but they were taking a lot longer. They had taken 2 minutes by this point. And so that was throwing me off a little bit that they were taking an awful lot of time for these first 8 or 9, 10 moves. It says my best move is e5. I think one reason that I did find that is because previously my opponent had been guarding this square, so I wasn't able to play that because they had, other pieces guarding it. So I had been considering moving the rook over, trying to get this pawn to move forward. But once they moved the knight and they weren't guarding that square anymore, I thought, as I said, that they might be planning an f4 for some reason, but I could stop that now by playing e5. I had no idea it was my best move, but there it is. But my opponent played another inaccuracy, and this one probably should have been counted as a mistake because it takes us to -2 or very close to -2. Well, I mentioned one of the reasons that I put this here was so that I could go after the other bishop, but that was not what I should have done. I should have given an extra layer of protection to that pawn this way or this way, queen to e7 or c7, or moved the rook over to e8 and just left the pawn where it was. Well, I didn't know that. I pushed it forward to come after the other bishop, and that took away some of my advantage, but not all. They played one of their only moves that made sense in that situation. But I did see this pawn coming forward. I saw bishops aiming down this way, and I thought maybe I should put a stop to that pawn, their h-pawn coming forward, so I played h6, but again, that's not what I should have played. I should have played knight to b6 to go here. Nope, it says I would just leave it on b6. After that, no matter what they did, I would just leave it on b6. Okay, well, I don't understand that. Or bishop to b8. I'll bring this down here to target the knight? Apparently, because it says that they would move it then, and then I would take it. And they would take it. Well, I wouldn't have thought of that, because what if they just left it there? And then what would I do? And then I would have my rook trapped back here again, unable to develop. Okay, I don't know. So their best move here is g4, but they didn't play it. They played h5, which is a mistake. I'm back. Yeah, see, that was less of a shift than the previous one, but this one was counted as a mistake. That was the first mistake of the game, but it only works if I play queen to c7, or rook to e8, or queen to e7, or knight to b6 again. Again, not heading anywhere, just getting over to knight to b. Maybe it's getting out of the way of this bishop? I wanted this here to defend this knight, so I wouldn't have played that. Or again, bishop to b8. So basically the same moves as a couple of turns ago. Well, I didn't find any of those. I played this. The idea was to be able to develop this bishop. Now it's not good for my opponent to play knight to g4, but they did, and I should have taken it, but I didn't. It was a blunder for me to not take it. Any other move would be a blunder. I mean, I thought it's fairly obvious they were aiming here with 2 pieces, but I have 2 pieces defending it, right? So I thought I would be okay. Taking it now is the only move that takes advantage of all of that. Queen to e7 wouldn't hurt much. Queen to c7. Wait, see, that I definitely would never have played. That still leaves me with an advantage. It would have been counted as a mistake or a blunder, but it would have left me with an advantage. I wouldn't have played that because then they would have taken here, and when I took back, they could have busted open my pawns, and I would have had this sitting here doing nothing, unable to defend against any f6 attacks. Or bishop to b7 would have left me with a very slight advantage. Wait, it said it would have made it minus 0.5. The move I did play left me with minus 0.8. Rook to e8's not good now at all, even though it was one of my top moves on the previous turns. All right, well, again, I don't understand. I played that. It's a blunder. They can take there, and they did, and I was supposed to take back, and I did. I thought they were going to take here, but they didn't. They're supposed to play a4 now. It's the only move that keeps us within -1 and +1, but instead they got their other knight out, which allows d4. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. My queen and my bishop are guarding that square, so then they would have to move the knight again? Oh, well, they would take first, and I wouldn't take back with the bishop. Oh, their queen's back there. It says I would just move my queen up a little bit. Okay, well, if I had found d4 and they had taken, I wouldn't have moved my queen up a little bit on the next turn, so it's a good thing I didn't play d4. Bishop to e6 is good. Oh, wait, am I supposed to be worried about this? I had 2 pieces defending that. My queen and my knight are defending this pawn, so I don't know why I need to defend it. Or bishop to f5, which, not sure what that does. I think I do see why this is a mistake, because they can just take it with their bishop. It's a free piece. Okay, that's an elementary blunder. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought I would have 2 defenders on that so that they couldn't take it. Yeah, for some reason I thought they would play f3 here, you know, not wanting to trade off the bishops. And yeah, that just hung a piece. Okay, I get that blunder. Totally understand that. I just don't know why the other moves are better. I mean, I know why the other moves are better is because they don't hang a piece, but I don't know what principle would guide me to find those other moves, is what I should say. But my opponent thought the same thing that I thought, and they did play f3. Well, since they played f3 and now their bishop's not guarding here, I thought, you know, I have 2 pieces hitting there, so I should take it with one of them. But it says no. It says I should take here. I would still be ahead if I took there with my bishop. Wait, what? Oh, no, not that one. I would still be ahead if I left that there and took this pawn with my bishop because they undefended the e-pawn. Wait, if I took here, it says that they would take my bishop. Well, probably, and I would have just lost a bishop. And then it says I would play queen to c7 and I would be up -5. Okay, wow. Okay, well, I was way off. Like I said, I just took this pawn, and I thought that was good for me. I mean, I'm still ahead, but it's not nearly as good as any of those other moves. Their best moves are to push this forward. Oh, and it says I would just drop back then. I think if they pushed that forward, I would take their bishop, or to take this pawn, and in which case I would drop back. But no, either way, I think I would take their bishop first. But it says no. Okay. Well, my opponent came after my bishop straight away, and my best move is to take this pawn and let them have my bishop. And I'm way ahead if I give away a piece now. Oh, okay. No, it's not totally giving away a piece. Sorry. If I take here and they take my bishop, then I would take their bishop. Okay, I get that. That's what I should have done. But instead, I did the thing that I should have done on a, you know, if they had done the right thing earlier, which is move this bishop back. Well, that allows them to push past here, which is their best move. But I have a huge advantage now. But only if I take this pawn. Anything else is not as good, but a lot of other moves leave me with an advantage. I thought they were coming this way, so that's why I came back here. But that is not what I'm supposed to do at all. So that lost most of my advantage, but I'm still up. My opponent kept moving forward with the pawns, which is kind of what I thought they should do, and I should have taken it. Oh, I didn't know I should take it. If I took it, they were going to take back, and my knight would be in danger, and I'd have to move my knight, right? It says if I took here, yeah, they would take back, and then I would let them have my knight by playing here. I wouldn't have. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand that. So I brought this back, and now my opponent has a huge advantage if they will take the pawn that I just quit defending right here. And they didn't. They took over there, and now I should put this knight back. That's the only move that keeps us near even, is if I put this knight back. Well, I thought they were going to take here. I mean, I didn't think they were going to take here. I thought they were going to move their rook over to keep me from taking there, because then this pawn would be pinned, and I would be in big trouble, right? So if I had just played this, they would... yeah, rook to g1, their best move. Okay, then what do I do? Then I put this bishop back up here, or play g6, and I would have been fine. Okay, so why is playing g6 here now bad? That's what I did, but it's not good, and now my opponent has a huge advantage. Again, only if they'll take this undefended pawn, but only with their knight. Not if they take the undefended pawn with their queen, which is what they did. Guess what? I finally saw this pawn. I didn't know what else to do, and I took it. My opponent should have doubled up here on this d file, I guess, you know, coming for the queen, but instead they took another free pawn, which seemed free. I'm supposed to get my queen out of this pin here, or take here. Wait. Oh, okay. Moving the queen to e7 is the only move that maintains close to equality. My second best move was counted as a mistake because it's so much less. Okay, well, it looked like a free pawn. Now my opponent is supposed to castle. That's what it says. The only move that leaves them an advantage is castling kingside, or a very slight advantage if they bring this rook over. But instead they blundered here. I have to take it. Okay, well, as you can see, all the way up to this point, this game was a mess. I had to see that my opponent was aiming for that. Checkmate. I won't be able to move because their bishop is cutting off those 2 squares. And when they take here with their queen, that's checkmate. I could have defended against it by moving the rook up 1. I could have defended by checking first. Let's see, if I had checked first, it says their king would have moved over 1, and then I would have taken the knight. Or I could have just taken it now. I did not see that my opponent had mate here. So I threatened their queen, which kind of encouraged them to checkmate me. Yeah, so even though, once again, my opponent and I didn't have any mistakes or blunders in the first 10 or so moves, 12 in this case, the game itself was a mess, and, after that point, looked like it was played by a couple of beginners, especially right here. I'm experienced enough that I should be, once they have their, pieces in this close, I should be looking to see if they can checkmate me. I should have noticed that their bishop was cutting off those squares. I should have noticed that both these pieces were pointed at f7, and I should have done something about that, besides just get out of the way and let them do it. Okay, well this one, at least this move here, is a lot more instructive and helpful than a bunch of the stuff in the previous game, where I didn't even make any mistakes and my opponent got a huge advantage. We're actually even on material, but it says they would take back, and then I would run away with my queen, letting them, wait, sorry, I had taken here, and they had taken back. My only move is to go over here? That gives them the knight. It says they wouldn't take it. What? Sorry. I play queen, this is g5, right? And they're not going to take the knight. I just gave them a free knight. Okay, well, backing up. If in this position I had realized they were threatening mate and realized I should probably just take the knight, I thought we were going to be even on material here, and I would have to keep my queen here defending this knight or move the knight. And I probably would have moved the knight to offer a queen trade. But that would have been very bad. The only place it says I can move the knight and stay close to even is here, but the only way I can get my advantage is to go here, and let me see what happens if they take the knight, because I have no idea. Okay, because I can threaten them with, there's only 2 moves here. Rook a to d8, not e to d8, but only the a rook to d8 or queen to g3 check. Okay, well this one I would probably find because it tells their queen to run away. Is it that it does have places to run away? Sorry, what? Their best move is to take my rook. Their second best move is to take my other rook. If they took the one with check, I would have to take back, right? Yeah. But if they took this rook, I wouldn't even take back. I would check on g3. Man, I would have to know what I was doing, and I clearly don't, but because here, if I don't keep checking them, that's mate. And now this rook is pinned, right? And my king can't escape. So anything I do that allows them to take here, that's checkmate. So I've let them do that. Okay, it says it's just as good, if not slightly better, to take back, but earlier it said I would play here, and they would have to move, and it would be slightly better for them to move this way, and then I would take their queen, okay? And their best move's to threaten my queen, okay? And then I'm going to check on f4, and they're going to go back here. And the engine's not sure what's best, whether checking over here or checking on d2. Checking on d2 came out on top. Well, now they're going to go back to where they were. Let me see. Yeah, my best move's back here. This is another one where Stockfish says I have a great advantage if I repeat. Let me guess, they're going to go to e1. Is it my best move to... Okay, now it's not my best move to repeat. Okay, that's interesting. My best move is to rook to e8. All right. Okay, well, backing up. I would have lost this game if I had taken here. Because again, I assume my opponent would have taken back. I never would have found this or known that it was the best move. I would have played this, and it says that's fine because they can play the queen to f4, and now they have a slight advantage again. Okay, well, I do know why I lost the game, but as I said, I think I would have ended up losing it anyway because I wouldn't have found some of those only moves after finding the right first move, which I think I should have been able to find that one. I just wouldn't have found the next one. I don't think, because I don't know why. Even though it showed me, and I tried to follow that line, and it showed me that, oh, after this you'll have a mating sequence, but I don't think I could win that. I don't know. I almost want to go to right here and take this position and play it against a bot, even knowing that this is the right move, and knowing that after that, this is the best move. Sorry. Yeah, that's g5, right? Even though I already know that, and I've already seen a few moves past that, I don't know that I could beat a strong bot with such a huge advantage, because at some point over there it said it was like +5 or something. Well, here it's only minus. Here it's only minus. They take and I go over here. It's -2. Oh, it only went to +5 if they took the knight. So a strong bot wouldn't take the knight. A strong bot would know to go here, and then my best move would be to sack the rook. Yeah, I think right here, even with the -2, I would probably lose to a strong bot. Okay, well, thank you for spending your time here. My time is over. I'll see you next time.